Hi, I am diptampaul and in this course we will learn about SQL. So what is basically SQL? SQL is, let me search over here. So SQL is a database management language, right? So with SQL, or you can say structured query language, we can actually store, manipulate and retrieve data from a relational database or to a database. Okay, so SQL is the standard language for relational database system. So after this course, you can easily retrieve, insert, update, delete data in databases. Okay, we will talk about tables, relationships, joins, subqueries, regular expressions and much more. Okay, so stay tuned, and in our next video we will download the SQL in our device. So guys, in this video we will learn about how to download MySQL in your device. So we will download it on Windows. If you are using Linux or Mac, you can go into YouTube and search for how to download and install MySQL into your device. Almost the steps are similar, but you need to do some modifications. So it's better to go in YouTube, right? So we will just write over here SQL, MySQL, and then go to this download section, and inside this download section go down a little bit and then choose this MySQL community downloads, because the community server is free for everyone. So we will use this one, and from here then choose MySQL community server, then choose this MySQL installer for Windows. You can see this is the recommended one, so we will just click on it and then download the first one. Okay, here it will ask you to create an account, but no need to create an account. You can just click on this, no thanks, I just start my downloads, and it will start downloading. So now just click on this MySQL installer, and to install MySQL it is quite easy. Just click on next, but sometimes you just need to put some password. We will just see that in this video. And now the installer is opening. From here, choose the developer default and click on next. Now select both of these. Actually, it is trying to link MySQL with the Visual Studio and Excel, but it is failing. And for your device, it may show some difference, or you can say some different errors. So don't worry about that. Just click on this next option and click on yes. Then it will ask to download some files, some products of MySQL. So it is downloading MySQL Server 8.0.19, MySQL Workbench. So it will be helpful to graphical representation of MySQL to link your device. So just click on execute. It will take some time because it is downloading some files. So if your internet speed is quite good, it will download instantly. Okay, so you can see all the products are downloaded and installed, completed. So now we can click on this next option and again click on next. Now choose the standard MySQL server, then click next. Keep everything in default setting, then click on next. Don't modify anything. Then use a strong password, obviously, click next. Then write your password. All right, so now click on next. Again, keep everything with by default setting, then click next. And now click execute. All right, everything is fine. Now click on finish, then click on next, and again click on finish. There are so many steps actually. And again next, yeah, click on next, and here you need to put your password. It actually connect to server, it will connect with the MySQL server, so that's why you need to put your password. And now click on this check option. Now you can see connection is succeeded. Now click on next. Now click on execute. Now click on this finish option. Okay, again next. And yeah, so now all the installation is completed after lots of steps. Now we don't want to open this MySQL shell right now. We just want to open the MySQL work. It is actually a graphical tool to connect with your MySQL server. So we will just click on finish. So when you open it for first time, you will see your root and localhost over here, MySQL connection. If you don't see this thing, you just click on this plus option, and here you can set your connection name, and then you need to put your password over here stored in vault, and then connect with the server obviously, and since we are connecting with a server right now, we don't need to add one more. So I'll just click on cancel. So now click on this server, or you can say connection. It will ask you for the password. Just type in your password and click on OK. Now it will open a workbench where we will work in our next videos. So this is all the elements which we will use. And in the left side, you can see there is a navigator, and there is this thing is query, where we will write all our queries. And this is the SQL edition. So yeah, this is all about the installation process of MySQL in Windows. Okay, so in our next video, we will do some comments in MySQL. So guys, we already saw how to install SQL and MySQL in your device. So you can see over here, we are now opened MySQL Workbench. Similarly, if you want to access your SQL, you can just go into your start menu, and after that go down a little bit and click on this MySQL, then click on this MySQL command line, and it will open a command line. Here you can write your password, and after that you can write all the comments of SQL manually in the command line. For example, if you want to show your databases, you can just write show databases. Right, it will show all the databases available in your device. Similarly, if you want to do it from here, you can also do it from here. So we will go one by one. So we will first learn what is database, tables and queues, and SQL basics, and then we will move on to MySQL. Okay. So guys, this is kind of an introductory video of what is database and what is database management system and why we need SQL in every language, I guess, for web development, for app development, whatever. If you want to store something, you need SQL, right? So before that, you can obviously download or get my presentations from presentations.refinder.com, and you can just click on that particular presentation which you want. For now, there is only one presentation, but I hope from time to time there will be more presentations which will be available over here. So let's start our presentation. So this is the SQL course, and so first of all we need to know what is database, right? So a database is any collection of data, right? So you can see over here the phone book, shopping list, to-do list, they all are a collection of data, right? In phone book you collect the phone number as well as the name of the particular person, and then in shopping list you collect the name of the grocery items, and in to-do list you collect what to do in future times and all, right? But there is several ways to store the data, like on paper, in your mind, on a PC, on a computer, on a cloud storage, on a hard disk, pen drive, and etc., right? So basically a database means a storage where we can store the data, right? So now you may think like, what is the difference between, like, which one is better, like storing data into pen and paper, or storing data on cloud storage, or in a PC or on a server? Obviously in server there are some more benefits than storing data in pen and paper. For example, let's take an example of Amazon.com, the big e-commerce platform in India, in all over the world, and a shopping list. Okay, in shopping list you can track the products which you wanna purchase, right? But in Amazon.com you can track the product reviews, purchasing order, credit cards, user details, and all, right? There can be like trillion of pieces. You don't need to write it manually, you can just put the numbers and it will automatically store. Then there will be this will be much secure than normal pen and paper, because if you lose the paper it will gone. But for cloud storage, it will stay forever. And then similarly you can obviously store the data of the person who will buy from your store. You can store the data, or you can say credit card numbers, credit card details, address, phone number, and all very easily. But for shopping list there will be like a limited paper, and if you lose that paper it will gone. It will be more time consuming to write every particular name, address, phone number, and all. And there is no security obviously if that paper will lost, and whoever got that paper, he will know all the details of every person. And so yeah, you can see in the last slide I write that, but computers are the great at keeping track of large amount of data or informations rather than storing them on a paper. Obviously, because in computer or in the cloud storage we get unlimited of storage, we can store whatever we want, but on pen paper, on a paper, you will not get that kind of facilities, right? So now here comes what is database management system. Okay, so DBMS. A DBMS is a special software program which helps user to create and maintain a database. Okay, the database means to store the data, and if you have a large amount of data, then you need something to manage those data, right? In that case, database management system comes in. Okay, so a database management system has these 6 characteristics. So it makes it easy to manage large amount of data. Then the second one is backup of every data, obviously. Then you can import and export data from one platform to another platform. Then concurrency, then interact with different programming languages. Like if you wanna interact the SQL with JavaScript, you can obviously do that. You can interact with Python, Java, and all. Then it is much secure because you cannot lose this data easily. It is highly secure. Now, all the good database management system should have this CRUD, that means create, read, update, and delete features. You can take any example of any good database management system. It could contain these features, that is CRUD. Okay, so it means it can create data, it can read data, it can update data if we need to update something, and obviously it can delete a particular data if suppose there is like amazon.com and someone deleted his account, then we don't want his data to store in our database, right? So we can obviously delete that data also. And now there are two types of databases. Okay, so first one is relational database and the second one is non-relational database. So here we will learn the relational database, that is SQL, but there is a non-relational database, that is no SQL. Okay, but there are two key features of every databases. Like for relational databases, it can organize data into one or more than one table. We will learn about that in our next video. But each table has a columns and particular rows. Like each table has like number of columns and number of rows, and there is a unique key identifier for each row. Like for example, ID. Like if you take a table of employee, then there should be an employee ID which will be a key identifier for each rows, right? And for non-relational database, there are, like, it can organize data but not a traditional table way. Okay, it can store the key value, but it is a flexible table. So we can understand that NoSQL can store the data which is not relational. For example, if you take example of graphs, so graph is not a relational, right? So that will consider as a non-relational database. And some example of non-relational databases are like JSON, XML. So these are non-relational databases. Okay, and now the next one is database queries. So a database query is a request for a data from a database. Okay, so usually the request is to retrieve data. However, data can also be manipulated using queries. So for example, if you Google search something, okay, if you search something on Google, then that will be called as queries. When the database structure becomes more and more complex, it becomes more difficult to get a specific piece of information which we want. In that case, we will just search for that, and that is called as database queries. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. Now in the next video we will create some tables using SQL, okay, for this course. And in case if you want to know how I make these kind of presentations using HTML, CSS, and JS, then you can obviously go to my course section in my website DipFinder, and then click on this presentation slide website. It will be absolutely free, and you can learn everything from scratch. And yeah, this is the presentation which is made by HTML, CSS, and JS, and you can get all the presentations in presentations.refinder.com website. Okay, thank you. So guys, in this video we will learn about the difference between SQL Workbench and SQL command line. So you can clearly see that MySQL has these two files, like MySQL Workbench 8.0. So let's open it, and also we have this thing. Where is that? MySQL. Yeah, MySQL 8.0 command line. So what is the basic difference between these two? So let me put my password and login. So yeah, so now we are logged into MySQL Workbench, and let's log in MySQL command line. Yep. So actually these two do like same things. Okay, there is no difference between their works. So it's like using command line to code Python and using PyCharm to code Python. Both are same, right? But in PyCharm that is like more user friendly interface, but in command line it is not user friendly, right? So this is totally same. In if you write the SQL code in command line, it will be like you are writing Python code on CMD. Okay, and if you write SQL code on MySQL Workbench, and that will means like you are writing Python code on PyCharm or VS Code or maybe something else, right? So for a beginner, this Workbench looks like a difficult thing, but that is not actually. So you can see over here. So we will go through by one. So you can see over here. This is for create a new SQL file. You can see that it is showing create a new SQL tab for execution queries, and the second one is to open a SQL file. Okay, and these options are like create a new database, create a new table and all. And then here we have these two options, administrations and schemas. In administrations we have this option like when the server will open, when the server will close and all. And in schemas you will see all the databases available in your device. Okay, and this query section is the section where we will spend our most of the time. This is for writing your SQL code. And in the right side you can see these two section, context help and snippets. And if you go over here you can see these three icons, right? These three icons are used to hide any sections. For example, this right section we don't need that, so we will just click on this option and it will be removed. And similarly we don't want this bottom section, so we will just click on it and it will be removed. Okay, so maximum time we will spend on this icon, and these two do same things. Okay, so let me show you that. So for example, if you want to show all the databases already available in your device, so for that I'll just write show databases. Okay, and in SQL always remember like C or C++, you always need to end with semicolon. Okay, so without semicolon it will not run, and then it will show me all the databases available in my device. Similarly, if I write over here show databases, and always remember you have to put semicolon and then click on this current icon, and it will show you that execute the selection portion of the script or everything. So if you just select this thing, it will just run only this portion. Okay, and if you don't select anything, it will run everything. Okay, so since we have only one line, we don't need to select anything and it will run all the code available over here, and that is obviously one line. So now you can see these two are showing same things. You can see information schema, then MySQL, then performance schema and all. Okay, so these two will do the same thing. So in my next videos we will use these both tools. Okay, sometimes we will use this MySQL Workbench and sometimes we will use this MySQL command line, so that you get used to of both of these. So guys, in this video we will learn how to create a basic table. So before that we have to learn the data types in SQLs. Okay, so there are mainly these 6 data types, okay, in SQL. So the first one is integer, okay, int. Then the second one is decimal. So decimal is like float in SQL. In decimal you can clearly see there are two arguments, m and n. M is for the digits which are before decimal point and n is for the digits which are after the decimal point. Okay, then we have varchar, and varchar means it is for characters. You can obviously put the maximum limit of the varchar. Suppose you want to put 5 letters. Okay, in that case you can obviously put 5 over here, or you can put 10, 15, whatever, and that will be the maximum limit. Obviously if you put over here 100, that doesn't mean that you need to put every word that is exactly 100 size. Okay, you can obviously put 5, 10, 15 letters in varchar with 100 limits. Okay, but if you put over here 100, and that will obviously take a lots of storage in your database. And the fourth one is blob, and that is for binary objects. Okay, then the fifth one is for date, and that format is, you can clearly see over here, this is the exact format in date as well. And the last one is for timestamp, where you can put the date and time as well. So the format is, first of all we have to put year, then hyphen, then month, then hyphen, then date, and then space, then hour, number of hour, like 12, 13, 14 till 24, and then minutes and seconds. Okay, that's it. So this is the data types in SQL, and let's create a basic table. So we will use the SQL command line over here, but we can obviously use the SQL workbench as well. But in this video we will use the SQL command line. In the next video we will use the SQL workbench, so that you can understand both the things properly. So yeah, this is the basic table, student table, and it has this 5 unique ID. So always remember, this ID should be primary key. That means it should be unique for every particular student, and the second column is for name, and the third one is for class. So we will just open our MySQL command line, and we have to put the password as well. So we will just put our password. Yeah, so now we are into our MySQL command line. But before creating this table, we have to create a database. Otherwise it will not understand in which database we want to put this thing. Before that, we have to show the databases, so that we can understand that there is no database called student. Yeah, and do remember, we have to always put the semicolon after every line, otherwise it will not run. You can obviously see over here it is not running, but whenever we put semicolon, it will run. Okay, so there is no database called student, so we can obviously create a database. But it will be better if you write the by default, or you can say predefined codes in capital or uppercase. Okay, so that you can separate both the things. And if you write something which is not predefined, that should be in lowercase. So we will just write over here, create database. Okay, create database. You can see over here I am writing this thing in capital. That is because these are predefined comments in SQL, and then we have to write the database name. So here we will just write students. Okay, and okay, we mistake that we didn't put the semicolon after this line, so we have to put semicolon, and this will be created. You can see query. Okay, one row affected. Now if you run show databases, and if you put semicolon over here, you can clearly see that now we have this student database. Okay, so now we have to go into that students database, so that we can create that table. Do remember that that it is not mandatory to create only one table in a particular database. In a particular database there can be multiple tables, so that is not a big deal. And now we have to go into that particular students database, so we will just write over there use, then the database name. So here it is students. Okay, now we can see the database is changed. Now we have to create this table, so we will just write over here create table, then student. Okay, oops, student. Yeah, that's fine. Now we have to go into that particular table, so we will just use this first parenthesis, starting parenthesis, and then we have to write the student ID. So student ID is not a predefined comment in SQL, so we will just put it in a smaller, or you can say lower font, and then student ID, and that is an integer type, so we will just write int. Okay, and every column should be separated with comma. Okay, and then we have to put the name, and this is a character type data types. Okay, so we have to write var char, and the limit can be obviously 10, 20, 1000, 100. You can obviously put 1000 as well, but if you initialize 1000 byte for every name, that will obviously take a lots of storage in your database, right? So we don't want that. The maximum can be 20, so that's fine. And then we have to write the class, and that is also a varchar with maximum 5, and that's fine. So this is actually Roman numeric thing. The maximum can be 5, that's fine. And now we have to close the parenthesis, and remember here I didn't put any comma, because you have to put comma between two columns. Okay, so because the student and name is two different columns, so we put comma over here. Then name and class are two different columns, so we will put comma over here, but after class there is no column, so that's why we didn't put any comma over here. Then this closing parenthesis and a semicolon, because we have to end every line with semicolon. It's like C, using C and C++ like this. In Python we don't use that, obviously. And then if you press enter, you can see query okay, 0 row affected. That's fine. Now if you want to see that whether this thing is created or not, you can just write describe, then the table name, okay, student, and a semicolon. Yeah, so you can see that this table is now created. It is student, it has these three columns: student id, name, class. And student id is initialized with integer data type, name and char class, sorry, is initialized with varchar data type, and this all contains null value. And yeah, all are by default null because we don't have anything inside these columns. And you can obviously put a drop table if you want to delete some table. So if you write drop table and then the table name, for example here it is student, and then semicolon, it will delete this table. Okay, that means there will be no table student. Let's do that. Okay, so let's do that. Query okay, 0 row affected. And if you just check whether this table is present or not, it will show that error, this student table doesn't exist. Okay, that means it is deleted. So let's create this table again. Create table student, this thing, this, yeah. So now I guess where is that? Yeah, so you can see this table is now created. And now in case if you want to add some more column in this table, for example, let me just maximize this thing a little bit, and let me write it over here, a GPA. For example, if you want to put your GPA over here, and you can also do that as well. For example, the GPAs are like decimal values, right? So it is kind of like 3 point something, 4 point something. So after the decimal point there should be a 2 digit, and before the decimal point there should be also a 2 digit. So we will declare a GPA as well. So to create a new column after these already exist columns, you just need to write alter, then table, and then the class table name which you want to use. Here it is student, and then add, then GPA, like the column name which you want to add, and then the type of the column, like this. We are first of all writing the column name, then the type of the column. So here the column name is GPA and the type of the column is decimal, right? So it is decimal. And in the parentheses we have to write the limits. So we want like 2,2. Okay, 2,2 a decimal point. That means we can put maximum 2 digits before the decimal point and the maximum 2 digits after the decimal point. And then we have to write a semicolon and press enter, query okay. And then if you write describe student, now you can see this GPA column is now added, and it is the type of decimal. That's fine. So I guess this is all about this video. So we now created this basic table, and that's fine. In our next video we will learn how to insert elements in this table. Okay. So in this video we will just see the course material which we will use in our next videos. Obviously you will get that all in my profile. You just click on my profile and go to my GitHub repo, and from there you will get all the materials. So this is the primary material, create database.sql. And since I already told that now we will use the SQL workbench, so let's open that. So yeah, this is the workbench 8.0, and we have to put our password. Yep, now it is opened, and you can see that in the previous video we created this students table, and this is already over here. And to open this create database.sql, you just need to click on the second option, that is open SQL scripts, and then choose the file path and select the first option, that is create database.sql, and just open it. Yeah, so now all the source code is now opened. We will use these tables a lot in our next videos, so I sincerely request you to get it from my GitHub repo or any other resources. So yeah, then click on this execute option and it will be executed. So now you can see all the codes is successfully executed. There is no error. Yeah, there is no error. And then you will not get to see any database over here. You just need to refresh this thing. So after refreshing, you will get to see all the tables from here to here, and these all are named with a SQL underscore and then the name. So this is the SQL underscore store, then SQL underscore invoicing, then SQL underscore inventory, and SQL underscore HR. So now let's let me maximize it, and let's go into this SQL underscore store. Okay, and here it is actually tables fetching. So let's wait few minutes. Okay, this is actually taking a while because these files are so long, but already you can see these SQL inventory tables are now fetched. So we will go into this SQL inventory and then tables, and then you can see there are few more options like tables, then views, then stored procedures and function. So these things will be available in every database. So this first one is the tables, which we already learned how to create this kind of tables. Then second one is for view, the view the records in that particular table. Then and then the stored procedures and functions. This is actually a programming method. Like assume we have a lots of customer details of a particular state, and you wanna know the customer names from a particular city. In that case, hey, we just want to see the customer name from that city. In that case, these store procedures will help. And anyway, so we will just go into this table, and there will be a folder named products, and you will get to see this icon, like this database icon, and above that a Thunderbird icon. Just click on it, and it will write this command, select star from this SQL inventory dot products, and it will show all the details of that particular product table. So this is the table which is already created, but we learned how to create table, but we didn't learn how to insert data into that table. We will learn that in our next video. Anyways, I request you to take these resources. It will be highly useful for you, as well as in our next videos we will use this inventory. Okay. So guys, in this video we will see how to insert data into table, but from this video onwards we will use this SQL command line. And after the basic things, when we will use the databases which we just took from my files, then we will use this workbench. But for now we will use this command line. Okay, so I'll just open my command line and put my password. Yeah, so now it is open, and let's create this table. Okay, so this table using this command line. You can obviously do this with workbench as well. The codes is exactly same, you don't need to modify anything. So let me just see the databases. So databases, and yeah, so these are all the databases. So we just need to go into the students databases. So we will just write over here use students. Okay, and you can obviously put this use in capital font. Use, yeah, that's fine. Now put a semicolon. Oops, yeah. Okay, I did a mistake. It is use. Yeah, so now you can see it is database changed, and now we just need to create this table, right? So we have to put it some GPA as well. So 3.4, and then 2.6, 4, 1.3, and that's fine. And then 6 point, and then also 3.7. Yeah, so these are good. And now we will just create this table. So to create a table, first of all, let us see what is inside this database. So describe, then the table name, that is student, right? Okay, we have to put the semicolon also. So yeah, so this is the table, and the first one takes integer value, then second column take the varchar, third also takes varchar, and the last one takes decimal point, right? So we will just write over here insert into, then the table name, it is student, and then the values. So and then starting parenthesis, and then we have to put the values which we will insert into this tables. First one is a student ID, so we will just write over here 1, that is integer type. Then we have to write the var character, so the name. And always remember that if you wanna put any kind of string, you need to put that inside the inverted commas. Okay, so I'll just write over here diptam. Okay, it is in capital, yeah, diptam, and then close the inverted comma. Then we have to put the class, so it is 6, and then the GPA, and in this case it is 3.4, and then closing parenthesis and then semicolon. Okay, and that's it. If you press enter, okay, there is an error. Well, yeah, it is showing an error. That is because we put like two decimal total digits and 2 after the decimal point, so that's why it is showing an error. So actually there is like there should be 3 total digit and 2 digits after the decimal point. So we will just remove this GPA section. Okay, so to remove any kind of columns, you just need to write alter table, then the table name, here it is student, and then drop column, then the column name, and it is GPA, right? And semicolon. Yeah, then you can see query is okay. Now let's just see our student table. Yeah, now you can see there is no GPA column, so we will just remove this one as well from here. Yep, that's fine. And now let's create this table. Okay, so we have the student ID, name, and class. So we will just take this one, insert into, and just remove the last one. Yeah, so in this way you can insert data into this table. So insert into this table name, then the values will be a integer, then 2 character types. Okay, now if you press enter, you can see query is okay, one way affected, and that's fine. Now if you want to see all the data from this table, you just need to write select select star from the table name. Okay, here it is student. Okay, we will learn about this select comment after some videos, but for now just use this thing without knowing about it. So select star from student, you already understand it, like select all from student. This star means all the data, all the columns from the student table. And if you press enter, you can see there is student ID, name, and class, and it contains 1 diptam and 6. Okay, that's fine. Now if you wanna make another data insertion, you can obviously just change it. It should be like 8, and it should be, the name is Max, and the ID is 2. Fine. Now if you press enter, all the queries will be okay. But assume you don't know the class of Albert. Okay, so I'll just remove it from here. Yeah, so you don't know the class of Albert, or just Albert has just recently joined into your school and you don't know the exact class of Albert. In that case, you have to specify which column values we are putting. Okay, so in that case you just need to write insert, then into, and after student, so we have to write obviously the table name, and after student we have to start the parenthesis and tell it the column names. Okay, so here the first one is student ID, and the second one is name, and then close the parenthesis, and then obviously we need to pass the value. So we will just write over here values, and then we have to pass the values. So here it is 3 comma the name is Albert, right? Great. Now close the parenthesis and put a semicolon, and then if you just see the table now, yeah, select star from student, it will show the table, and you can clearly see that we have, okay, we actually put these two times. So yeah, you can see over here it put it 2 times. So anyways, the first one is diptam, then Max, and then Albert, and Albert class is null. We didn't put the class, and it is by default null because we specified the column name which we are going to use. So here it is student ID and name, and the class is null, right? So yeah. So guys, in this video we will see some constraint while creating a table. Okay, so we will just drop this table. So drop student, sorry, it is drop table student. Yeah, now there is no table called student, so you can just check it also to describe student. Yeah, there is no table student, so we will just create this student table again. So to create a table, we already learned that create table, and then the table names, it is student, and then open parenthesis, then we have to put the column names. So before creating this column name, we will just create this one obviously, and let me tell you that the name should always be present. Okay, so there should not be any name which is null, because if the name is null, why do we need that, right? So we will just make it that name should not be null. If the name is null, it will throw an error. And similarly, let me just put over 9. 9, yeah. And similarly there should not be two same class. Okay, for example, it is the topper name of every class, so we have this 6, 8, 9, 10, and then again a 10, right? So there should not be two topper from a particular class, so it should be 5 or something else, except the above ones. It should not be repeated, right? So we will make this kind of table. Okay, so we'll just write over a student ID, and that is an integer type. Great. And then the name, and that is a character type, varchar, and the size is 20 enough. And now we have to set it that it is not null, so we will just write over here not null. It should not be null. Okay, and then the third one is class, and that is also a character type of size 5, and we have to set it unique because it is unique for everyone, and it should not be repeated for everyone, right? It should be unique. And we have to set the student ID as a primary key because it is unique for everyone as well. And if we set it as a primary key, then everyone will be identified with that student ID, right? So we will just write over here primary key, and that is nothing but the student ID, right? Student ID. Now we have to close this parenthesis and put a semicolon. Yeah, query is okay, zero affected. Now let's see our where is that, describe student. Let's see our table. Oops, yeah. So you can see that the student ID is integer type, and this is right, and the student ID and name is, because the student ID is primary key, it should not be null because every name should have a student ID. And for name we already said that it should not be not null, so it is also say it is null no, and the class can be null, that's fine. And the class is also unique, right? You can see over here it is unique. So let's create a table. For example, the first one is DIptam and 6, so we'll just write over insert into a table name, that is student, and then values, and then the values 1 comma. Yeah, so we created our first row. Then we have to put the second row, sorry, and for this this is 8, and the name is Max. Great. Yeah, so you can clearly see that we put 1 again, right? So it is showing that the key should be unique because it is a primary key, so the duplicate entry of class ID or student ID, right? So it should not be duplicate, so we just need to modify it again. It should be 2, right? It should be unique for everyone. So yeah, it is showing an error. So yeah, now it is query is okay, 1 row affected, right? Now let's make the third one, like Albert should be null. Like for example, if you put the name empty, so in that case it will also throw an error. So we'll just modify the ID, it is 3, and for the name we will put here null, and for class it is a 9, right? Yeah, so if you press enter, you can see it is also showing an error because column name cannot be null. There should be one unique name. That should not be unique. There should be one name. It cannot be null, right? So we have to put a name over here. So it is Albert. Yeah, now it is okay. And similarly, let's write the fourth one. This fourth one is John, and class is 10. Yeah, that's fine. Now let's write the last one. It is 5, and the name is Jenny, and we already set the previous value as 10. So if you run it as a 10, and you already know that class should be a unique value, so the 10 will be repeated, right? It should not be like that. So if you run this cell, you can see it is showing an error, the duplicate key entry class 10 for key student class, because it is a unique class for everyone. We are writing the topper from every class, so there should not be two topper from a class, right? So we have to make it unique. So let's write over there 5. Yeah, now if you run this cell, the query is okay, one row affected. Now if you just see this table, so we'll just write over here select star from, then the table name, okay, it is student, you can see that this table is now copied over here. So 1 2 3 4 5, then the names, and then the class. Okay. So guys, in this video we will see how to update or delete some values from a table. For example, this is our table, right? So it has the student ID, name and class, and the student ID is unique for everyone, and class is also unique for everyone, and name, there are some names, right? So for example, after some time, Jenny is now at class 6. Okay, and class 6 not cannot be repeated, so I'll just put a diptam. So it is suppose now diptam is in class 7, right? That's fine. So we have to update this class from here as well. So here you can see it is class 6, so we have to update this thing. So to update a particular data or any kind of data from a table, you just need to use update command. So update, then the table name, and after that you have to write set class, it is in lowercase, so class equals to 7, right? And then if you write semicolon over here, that means the comment will end over here and it will change every class to class 7. We don't want that. We want where the class is 6, it will just change that particular section, right? So we have to use one more thing, where class is equals to 6. Okay, so that means it will first check where the classes are 6. So in this case it is only over here, and it will just change the class to class 7 if it matches the class 6. Okay, so now if I press okay, I have to put semicolon and then press enter. You can see query, okay, one row matched and one changed, so this row is now changed. Okay, so if you write select star from student, now you can see now this diptam is in class 7, it is not in class 6, right? But do remember, it is not mandatory that you have to put like class over here. You can put any other column name over here. For example, assume now diptam is in class 12. So yeah, that's fine. Now if you want to change the value of this class, you just need to write update student and then set class to 12, and where the name is diptam. Okay, we can also do that as well. You don't need to write whatever changes you are doing for particularly, right? You can change whatever condition you want where name is a diptam. You can also set that as well. So it is diptam and then semicolon. You can see one row changed. So now if you just run this select start from student, you can see it is now class 12, so it's perfect. And similarly you can put multiple conditions. You can put any conditional variable like less than, greater than, less than, equals to, greater than, equals to, equals to and all. So yeah, let me just change one more thing. For example, if the student ID is greater than 3, that means 4 and 5, the name is Alex. Okay, so this John and Jenny will change with Alex. So we can also do that, update student. Okay, now set name is equals to Alex, right? And then where student ID is greater than 3, that means 4 and 5 is greater than 3, and it will just change only these two particular row. Okay, so now put semicolon, and you can obviously put multiple conditions as well. We will see that later on. And student ID is greater than 3, and if you run this comment, you can see this two row is changed now. So this John and Jenny will change with Alex. So we will just write select start from student. It will be now see, you can see it is Alex now. Okay, now let's see how to put multiple conditions, or you can say multiple statements. So first of all, let's change multiple statements. Okay, so from assume this student ID 5, we will change this name with Tom and then class with 6. Okay, now it is V and we have to set it VI, that is class 6, and the name will be Tom. Okay, so we will just need to write update student and then set name is equals to Tom and then we have to put comma, and then the second changing value, so it is class, and that is equals to 6, right? And where the student id is equals to 5. Okay, yeah, it is equals to, when the student id is equals to 5, it will change the name with Tom and class with 6, and yeah, that's fine. So you can see one row is changed. So now if you just run select start from student, you can see this student id 5 has been now changed with Tom and class 6. Okay, and similarly you can also put multiple conditions in case of in where. So for example, we will just change the name of Albert and Tom. We will just change the name of Albert and Tom with Jerry. So for that we just need to write update student, and then a set name is equals to Jerry, where the name is equals to Albert, and then or the name is Tom. So it will just combine both the things. Okay, so it will just combine, first of all check both the conditions. If one of them is true, it will function this thing name equals to Z. For example, if you see over here, this is Albert, so it will just check these conditions, and it finds that this it finds this condition is true, so it will just change this name will Jerry. And similarly, when it is in the fifth row, it will check this condition and it finds this name equals to Tom is true, so it will also change the name with Jerry. Okay, now put a semicolon over here, and yeah, so you can see that row match 2 and it's changed 2 rows. And if you run select star from student, it will change the name of a third student id and fifth student id. Okay, and this where condition is obviously not mandatory. If you just like you write like this, update student and name is equals to something like Doraemon. Okay, and Doraemon, yeah, and if you don't put any conditions for where, so it will just change every name with Doraemon. Okay, so if you put a semicolon over here, and you can see that row matched 5 and it's changed 5 rows, that means it's changed all the name with Doraemon. So if you just write select start from student, you can see all the name is now Doraemon. Okay, so it is not mandatory to write where every time. In case if you want to change every column, like every rows with same value, then you don't need to write where, right? And now we will see how to delete data from a table. Okay, so to delete something, it is kind of similar to the update. So you just need to write delete from, then the table name, it is student, and then the conditions where which if the condition is true, it will delete everything. Okay, so for example, if you want to delete this fifth row, so we'll just write over here student id is 5. Okay, so if, okay, we have to write where as well. So where, yeah, where student id is equals to 5, that means it will just delete this section. Okay, the 5 Doraemon and 6 will be deleted, because if the student id is 5, it will delete that particular row. So now if I run, you can see query, okay, one row affected. And if you write select start from student, you can see now there is no fifth student id, right? And like update, you can obviously put multiple conditions as well. So like delete from student, it is smaller, yeah, student, and then if suppose we want to delete this third student id, so it is a third 3 Doraemon and class is 9, right? So we have to write where the name is Doraemon, assume we are writing this thing, so it is Doraemon, and it is true for every particular row, right? If I just press a semicolon over here, it will delete every rows from this table, but we don't want that. We want another conditions, that is we write and then class is, okay, it is in smaller, class is equals to 9. Okay, so it is 9. That means it will first check this condition, name equals to Doraemon, and it finds that it is true for every particular row, and then it is finding this condition, class equals to 9, and is find this third row is true for this condition. And if both the condition is true, then it will function, it will work that for that particular row, right? Like similarly, where is that? Yeah, so you can see over here we used or. That means if one of the condition is true, it will perform the operation. But here we put and. That means both the conditions should be true. Otherwise, it will not perform that particular operation, right? So we'll just press a semicolon and then press enter. You can see one row affected. It is not showing 4 rows affected. It is showing one row affected. So now if you just write select start from student, you can see there is no third student ID. It is 1, 2, and 4. Okay. So guys, in this video, we will learn about some basic queries of, this SQL. So we already learned about queries, right? Database queries. Queries means if you want to fetch some details from a database when there is a large amount of data available in that particular table. So here there is not a large amount of data, but still we will use some queries. So we are using this sentence, select star from student. This is also a query. Here this star, or you can say asterisk, it means that we will select all the columns from this student. Okay, you can obviously take a particular column as well. So if you want to take this student ID column only, then you can just write select then student ID from the table, that is student. Okay, now put semicolon and it will just fetch only the student ID column. You can write like this as well. So assume over here you can press enter. Okay, one second. Yeah, select ID, then in the next line you can just write from student. Some may write like this, so from student and then semicolon, and that also means the same thing because this all things means a one statement. So it is also means a one statement. I already told you, if you don't use this semicolon, that will be considered as a one statement. Semicolon means at the end of the statement. So yeah, uh, it will also fetch the same things. Similarly, you can take multiple columns as well. So select student ID comma and then name from the table, that is student. Fine, it will fetch only these two columns, and if you write select star, that will fetch all the columns. And you can put also conditions. Okay, so for example, if you just write select student ID from student table where the class, actually let me see, where the class is this 12. Okay, where this class is equals to 12. Great. Now put semicolon. It will put only one because you can see from this original table only this first row has this class 12, so it is printing the student ID 1. Okay, you can put conditions as well. Similarly, you can put order by. Order by means you can put ascending order or descending order. For example, there is like 1 to 4, so we will just write select student ID then from student. Okay, and order by name, sorry, order by student ID. Yeah, now put semicolon and yeah, it will order by in ascending order. Similarly, you can write in descending order. So to write in a descending order, you just need to write select student ID then from student and order by where is that, order by student ID. Then you have to write DESC. DESC means descending order and put semicolon. Now you can see it is now in opposite 1 to 4 over here, and it is 4 to 1 now. You can use separate columns as well. You don't need to write student ID over here. You can write a name, class as well. So yeah, and you can also write these columns as the table dot then column name. In that case, it will be really helpful to understand you, like in future you can understand that this particular column is from that particular table. For example, I'll just show you. Select student dot name. So here the column name is name, but we are writing student dot name. That means table dot then column name comma student dot class. Okay, and then we have to write from student table. Okay, and suppose we will just write where student ID is less than 3. So that means this 1 and 2 will be printed. So in the original table it will be printed this 1 first row and the second row, 1 Doraemon and 12, then 2 Doraemon and 8. Okay, so yeah, then put semicolon and it will run, and it will print only this first and second row, and it will print only the name and class. So you can write like this as well, student.name and student.class. Now assume if you wanna face some limited rows from a column, so let me just write over here, select asterisk from student. Yeah, there are like 3 rows, right? Suppose we want to fetch only 2 rows. In that case, we can set a particular limit. So we will just write select asterisk from student, and then we can set the limit. So it is limit equals to 2. So we don't need to write equals to, it's limit 2, and then put semicolon. It will now fetch only 2 rows. Okay, yeah, you can see. And you can also set order by with this. You can also set where conditions and all. So for example, I'll just write over here order by student ID, and it should be in descending order. So we'll just write over DESC, and then limit is 2. So that's fine. Let me just check it. Yeah, it's fine. Now if you just run this command, now you can see it is now totally opposite of that particular total set. So first of all, it's just ordered by the student ID. That means this 4 will be in the first row and then 2 will be the second row. Then it set the limit and it printed only the first 2 rows. Now it is 4 and 2. Okay, now the last one is like not this kind of format. We will use this not equals to. We are using this less than equals to, greater than equals to sign, then and or, but we are not using this not equals to, right? So for example, we will just add one more row in this table. So we'll just write insert into, then the table name. So it is student, and then values, and the values will be assume now it is a 5 comma, then the name is Alex, and the class is assume 5. Yeah, and put semicolon rate. Now if you just fetch all the data from this table, you can see now there is one more row, that is 5, Alex and 5. Okay, so we will just fetch the data where the name is not equals to Alex. That means it should print only the first 3 rows. So in that case, you will just need to write select star from student where name, then the not equals to sign in SQL is less than and greater than symbol. That means the name is less than that particular name or greater than that particular name. That means that should not be equals to that particular name, right? So name not equals to, then we have to write the name, that is Alex. Great, and you have to put semicolon after that. Now run this comment. You can see it is printing only the first 3 rows. It is not showing the last row. Okay, so this is the not equals to symbol in SQL. So guys, in this video we will learn about that as command in SQL. So guys, we will open the MySQL workbench. For now we will not use this MySQL command line because we have to use a large amount of tables, because in MySQL command line we have to create a table, but here it is already created, because I hope you all guys downloaded it from my GitHub repo or from my website. This is all the files. Let me show you that. Yeah, this is the course material. In the previous videos I already told you that you have to take it, otherwise it is impossible to create a large amount of tables right now in this video. So we will use this table. So let me open my workbench, and yeah, so you can see we have these resources, these databases, this SQL HR, inventory, invoicing, stores, and all. So this is that student table which we created using the command line. Now we will use this SQL store, and in this table, under this table option, you will see this customer option. So let's click on this option. So let's click on this icon over here, and it will fetch all the tables from this customer. So you can see it has customer ID, which is a primary key, and it is for unique for everyone. Then first name of the customer, then last name of the customer, then birth date, phone number, address, city, state, and points. Okay, so assume we'll take this first name, last name, and then address and the points. Okay, so for that we first need to use that database, right? So we will just write over here use, then the database name, here it is SQL underscore stores. It is store. Okay, yeah. Now we have to fetch the column of first name, last name, address, and points, right? So we will just write over here select okay, first name comma last name comma address comma points. I hope this is correct. Points, address, last name, and first name. Yeah, so this is good. Now we have to actually use it over here semicolon, otherwise it will not end over there. So yeah, select this from the table name is customers, so we just need to write customers. Fine, so we have to put semicolon after that. And now if you want to run this particular comment, this all comments, you just need to click on this option, this Thunderbird option. Otherwise if you want to run a particular line, you just select that line and then click on this Thunderbird option, it will just run that particular line. So we'll just click on it. You can see it is fetching this data, first name, last name, address, and points. You can also write like this as well. So like this, first name, then last name, then address, then points, and then from customer. Yeah, now if you run this cell, it will also show the similar thing. So this is not, and this is not be a error. So yeah, so assume we have we want one more thing. So you can also use the mathematical operations like multiplication, divisions, addition, subtractions, and all. So suppose we want another column, so points, then multiplication with assume 20, and then plus 5. Yeah, so now if you run this cell, run all the comments, you can see now we have these calculated values. So 2273 multiplied with 20 and then added with 5, and the answer is 45465. And by the way, this follows the mathematical rule. That means the division will perform first, then multiplication, then addition, and then subtraction. But in case if you wanna perform this addition first, you just need to put a parenthesis over here. So we will just need to put a parenthesis, then it will perform this addition first. That means 20 plus 5, that is 25, and then points will be multiplied with 25. So if you run now you can see the values are not changed. It is actually calculating points with multiplying 25. Okay, so you can put a parenthesis as well, but sometimes we don't need to show all the details over here. So you can see over here it is showing that points is multiplied with 20 plus 5. We don't want that. We want a simple column name like customized point, like this. Okay, or you can say final points or something like that. Okay, final points. So in that case we will use this as comment. Okay, so you just need to write as, then final points. Okay, and now if you run this cell, run all the comments, you can see now the column name is changed. It is final points, but the values are same. Okay, so it is not changing the values. But sometimes you also don't need to put this underscore over here. You just want to write final space points. Okay, in that case you need to put these strings into inverted commas. Okay, so you just need to write over a single or double inverted comma. Yeah, now if you okay, let me remove this one and put a space, and now if you run, you can see now there is final space points. Okay, so yeah. So guys, in this video we will learn about this distinct keyword. Distinct keyword actually remove all the duplicates from a table. So we have this customer table. Actually there is no duplicate, so we'll just open our student table which we already created. So we have to go into this table and just click on this option. You can see this is the table which we created, and here this Doraemon name is 3 times, right? We don't want same name to be repeated 3 times. We will want unique names. So it will just print only one time and then Alex. Okay, so for that we just need to write over here use then the database name, that is students. Fine. So now let's just write select name from student. Okay, now if I just run this code, you can see now it is showing all the name and it is repeating this Doraemon and Alex. So if you just write over here distinct, this distinct keyword, distinct, yeah, that's fine. So now if you just run all the comments, now you can see it is showing only one Doraemon and only one Alex, right? It is not showing all the repeated Doraemons and Alex. So this is all about this distinct keyword. Okay, so guys, in this video we will see one more way for like to write the conditions. Okay, so for example, this is our customer table and we wanna know the name of the customer from Virginia, that is VA, Florida, FL and California. Okay, so we will just write over here select. Okay, oh, before that we have to write the database from where we will take the customer. So we will just write over here use then SQL underscore store. Okay, that's fine. Now we will just write select uh, first name, I guess it was yeah, first name and last name. So we will write over here first name comma last name. Okay, from the customers table, and where the conditions is one second, the state is, okay, the state is equals to fa. Okay, or we'll just copy this one. Yeah, that's fine. Now we'll just change this one with fa, sorry, it is fl actually, and va and ca. Okay, so we will just write over here v and it is fl and ca. Okay, fine. So if I run this comments, you can see it is now showing me these four names. The first one is from VA, that is Ines, and then FL we have Amber, and then again FL we have Touched, and then from CA we have Romola, right? So it is showing me this way, these four names, right? But for a beginner, if you are new to SQL or in programming world, you don't know about these OR statements, right? In that case, we will use this in keyword. So it is right like this. Let me just make it comment. So if you want to make comments in SQL, you just need to write two hyphen and then a space. Okay, so now this is a comment, so I'll just copy this one from here and paste it over here, and we need to just change this thing with in statement. So it is in state in, then parenthesis we have to write the names of the state, right? So here it is first of all VA, then comma, then it is FL, and then again comma, and then it is CA, right? Yeah, that's fine. Now we have to close this parenthesis and we need to put semicolon, and let me just run this code. Now you can see it is showing me the same thing, the name of this four guy. Yeah, so this is how you can use this in statement for to get multiple conditions. Okay, state in and then multiple names. You don't need to write them separately with or statement. You can write like this. Okay, so guys, in this video we will learn about this between operator. So for example, we will just take this select star, like select all the columns from customers, and then where assume the points is, actually the name of the column is points. Yeah, that's fine. So the points is greater than 1000, yeah, and points is less than 2500. Great. Now if I run this comment, Okay, we have to make it a semicolon over here. That's fine. So there are actually three rows which is satisfying this condition where point is greater than 1000 and less than 2500. So you can see over here these are greater than 1000 and less than 2500. That means these points are in between of 1000 and 2500, right? So to make it simplify, we can use this between keyword, between operator, whatever. So I'll just remove it from here. We can just write between, and let me just, yeah, between 1000 and 2500. Okay, so yeah, now if I run these comments, you can see it is showing the same thing. Similarly, you can put over here 3000 and it will show the same thing also. Obviously there is one more, this 2967, now it is added, so there are now 4 rows. Okay, so you can, in this way you can use this between operator. Now this is the exercise 1. You have to find out the customer details, all the customer details from the customer table where the customers are born in between 1980 to 1990. You can say the, you know, the month is January 1st, from the 1st Jan of 1980 to the 31st December of 1990. Okay, you need to fetch the details of all the customers who born in between those dates. Okay, so this is your first exercise. So guys, this is the solution video of our first exercise. So we have to fetch all the details of the customer who born it in between Jan 1st 1980 to December 31 1990, right? So we have this column name, birth, date. So we will just write over here select star, because we have to write all the details of the customer from, sorry, from, okay, before that we actually need to use that database. So it is use SQL hyphen store, sorry, underscore store, and yeah, that's fine. Now select start from, then the customer table, customers, where the birth underscore date is in between of, let me check the column name, yeah, it is birth underscore date, and that is between, we have to put the date. Obviously it is in the format of year, then month, and then the date. Okay, so we have to write like this: 1980, then the month is 01, and then the date is yeah, 01 as well, and then 1990, then the month is 12 and the date is 31st. Great. Now if I run these comments, yeah, so these three guy has the date of birth in between 1980 1st of Jan to 1990 31st of December, right? So yeah, this is the solution of our first exercise. So guys, in this video we will see how to use this like operator. So for example, let me just take select star from customers where, and now we will use the like operator. So before using the like operator, let's go into our customer table, and you can see over here we will just yeah, so we will use on for last name, so the last name like, then p, then a percentage symbol. Okay, now we have to close with semicolon. So this actually means that it will select all the columns from customer where the last name starts with b. Okay, so it means it starts, it means that the words will starts with b, and it will doesn't care about the letters which is after b. Okay, it should start, it should starts with b, and that can be a capital B, that means uppercase B, or lowercase b, that's fine, it will not check that thing. It is no, it is not a case sensitive. So yeah, if you run this comments, you can see all the last names is starts with B, right? Similarly, you can put this percentage symbol here as well. So in this case it will just there is no limit on like on the characters after B and before B. So if the last name contains B, it will show the row. Okay, So yeah, now you can see all the last name at least contains one B. In this first two rows, you can see B is in the first letter, then this one has B in the middle, then this one also has the B in the first letter, and here also the second last one. So yeah, and similarly you can put like this as well. That means all the last name should end with B. Let me run this one. Okay, there is no last name that's end with B. I can put Y over here, and if I run, you can see these last letters ends with Y. Okay, now the next one is underscore. Okay, that underscore means that it contains a Y in the second position. Every underscore means a one characters. So if there is one underscore, that means it represents one character. So if I write underscore Y, that means it means that the second character of the last name should be Y. If I run it, there is no last name where the second character is Y. So if I just write like this, 5 underscores, so this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now that means that before Y there should be 5 characters. Okay, it is a constant number. When you are using percentage, that means there can be any number of character before B or after B, so on, right? But if you use underscore, that means there is certain number of character. If you use 5 underscore, that means there should be a 5 character before that particular character. Okay, so here it is 5 characters before Y. So if I run, there are these three rows where there is 5 characters before Y. Okay, you can see over here. Now if you just write over here B and remove one underscore, then that means the first character should be B, then there should be 4 character, and then there should be a Y. Okay, and this is not case sensitive. You can write it lowercase or uppercase, whatever, and then if you run it, you can see only this last name consists B as a first character, then there is 4 middle characters, and then Y. Okay, so in this way you can use this like operator. So guys, it's time to do our second exercise. So you can clearly see the question over here. You have to fetch all the columns from the customer table where the mobile number of the customer ends with 9. Okay, so this is the customer table and you have to fetch all the customer details where the mobile number ends with 9. And by the way, this is there are like two customer where the mobile number ends with 9. Okay, so we have to fetch the details of, like, fetch all the details of this particular two customers. Okay, so pause this video, do it by yourself, and then check it from here. So I guess you have done this question, and now let's do that. Yeah, so we have to write like this: select star, right, from customers where the table, actually column name is phone, right? So phone is equals to, then it ends with 9, so we can use this percentage symbol, then 9, then semicolon. That's fine. So now if I run, okay, it printed nothing. Oh yeah, we have to put it like over here. So phone like ampersand 9. Great. So you can see there are like two customers where the phone number ends with 9. That's it. So guys, in this video we will learn about this regular expression operator that is kind of similar, like we use the like operator, but it is very good to use when you are comparing some strings. For example, if I just write over here select select star from customers where the last name like, let's see something. For example, this s. Okay, so if I put like this percentage s percentage, and yeah, that's fine. So that means that last name, if the last name contains s anywhere in that particular word, it will print the details of that particular row, right? So if I run, you can see all the last name contains s in between of the word, right? Here it is over here, then Rose has s in the third character, Dawson has this fourth character, and Nesby has this third character, right? So you can do like this as well.
also you can use this statement. Okay, so we will use the regular expression on short form is reg xp. So yeah, where last name, this one, yes, then we have to use regexp. Okay, and that is nothing but s. So this is similar to which we written above. Okay, so this is similar to that, and if I run it, you can see it also printed the same thing. Now in case if you wanna write something which starts with a particular number or particular character, then you have to use this symbol. Okay, this is the symbol which represent that this character, like this the last name should starts with these characters. Okay, so for example, let me choose something like yeah, du. Okay, sorry, it's do. So yeah, it will print the details of the customer where the last name starts with do. Okay, if I run it, you can see only this customer has the last name which starts with do, Dawson, right? Similarly, if you wanna get some details of a customer where it ends with do, in that case you have to use this dollar symbol, and if you run it, obviously there is no customer which where the ends is do. So we will just write over here y, since we already know there are some customers where y is the last character on their last name. So yeah, you can see all the last names ends with y. And yeah, so to show the last characters or last combine of character, you have to use this dollar symbol. And similarly, if you want to use this or option over here, so in that case you need to use this stick over here. So it is above your backslash, and if you want to use it, you need to press shift and then the backslash button, and I guess that is also above your enter button. So yeah, that means for example, let me choose something. For example, yeah, field and mac. Okay, so I'll just write over here field and here mac. So that means if the last name has field in his in the word, it will print the details of that particular person. And similarly, if the last name consists mac in that particular word, it will print the details of that person as well. So if I run it, you can see this McCaffrey has this word Mac, and this brush field has this was field. That's why it is showing all the details of this particular two persons, right? We can obviously take it to the next level. For example, if I use this vertical bar again and write rows, and if I run it, you can see now this Roseberg is added and it has Rose in his last name. So yeah, you can use this vertical bar to check multiple words. Now we can also use like this as well. So that means that if the last name consists field as a starting word, it will print that details of that person. Otherwise, or it will check for Mac in the last name, or it will check for Rose in the last name. So yeah, now you can see that field one is now removed because field wasn't the first word in that particular last name, that was the last word. So if you use a dollar symbol, and it will print that thing. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see now this field one is added, brush field. Yeah, now we can use this box bracket as well. So let me write like this, box bracket, then assume GEI, and then it ends with E. Fine, that's fine. Yeah, so that means that let me write like this. Yeah, it means that if the last name contains GE or EE or IE, it will print the details of that person. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see it printed these two guy where the first one has IE, so you can see it has this word, that's why it printed the details of that person. And second one has GE, okay, it has this word, that's why it printed that person. So this box bracket means it will check the last character with every character inside this box bracket. Okay, and obviously it is not mandatory to write E after that box bracket, you can obviously write it previous that box bracket. So let me write like this, uh, E and then X, Y, Z. Okay, that means it will check for EX, EY and EZ. And if I run it, you can see these three people who has EY in their last name. Okay, Now in case if you want to check with something like A B C D E F G H I J till then, okay, you don't need to write them manually, you can directly like this. So A to I, okay, it means it will check with E A, E B, E C, E D, E F and goes until E I, okay. You don't need to write A B C D E F G H till I, okay, it will do for you. Okay, so let's run it. Now it will print these two, that means it has EB and it also has EB. Okay, that's fine. So let's recap what we learned till now. So we use this arrow key, upper arrow key, to indicates the starting character or characters, okay, and then we use this dollar symbol for ending characters, and then we use this vertical line for or you can say logical or. Yeah, that's fine. Now we use this box bracket. Inside this we can write any alphabets, and we can also use these two symbol, for example A to Z. Yeah, that's fine, right? So far we learned these 5 things with regex. So now we will see the is operator. Okay, so this is is operator. So for example, you can see this fifth customer has no phone number. So just in case if you wanna send him a mail like you don't have a phone number, please add your phone number, then we will just write like this. So first of all we need to use that database SQL underscore store and then select star from customers where the phone is null. Okay, now if I run it, okay, there is an error. Okay, yeah, we have to use this semicolon. I actually forgot that thing, so yeah, that's why it is showing an error. Now yeah, you can see that this fifth customer is now showing it has no phone number. Similarly, if you want to get all the customer details who has a phone number, in that case you will just need to write is not null, right? So it will show all the customer who has a phone number. So in this way you can use this is and is not operator. So guys, in this video we will use this join operator. Okay, so before that let me just write use SQL underscore store. Yeah, now that's fine. Now let us go into the customer table. This is our customer table, and let us also go into this orders table. And yeah, so you can see that here in the orders table we have this customer ID. That means each order represents a customer, and it is representing that customer who already purchased something from your site, right? So now we wanna merge this customers table with orders table. Like we wanna know the customer name, full name, last name, and the address of the customer who already purchased something from your site. Okay, so in that case we will just write over here select and then star. For now I am using star, and later on we will modify that and we will select star, like select all columns from the order. Sorry, it is actually, yeah, orders. And now we have to write join. Okay, you can also write inner join. Actually in SQL, or you can say SQL, we have two kinds of join, inner join or outer join. But if you don't write inner join, that will be fine, because by default it will take inner join. So we will write join and join with customers table. So we'll just write customers table, and we have a condition, right? Because in order ID, oh sorry, in orders table we have these customer IDs. So if the customer ID over here from order table matches the customer ID from the customers table, it will show the details, right? It won't show all the customer details, or it will not show all the orders detail. Okay, so we just need to write on, and after that the conditions. You can just directly write the column name, that is first name, last name, and all. But in this case we have multiple tables, so we can also write the table name, then dot, then the column name, right? We already learned that in our previous videos, so we will use that thing over here. So on order dot, actually it is orders, so orders dot then the column name is customer ID, right? So customer underscore ID is equals to customers dot customer ID, right? Now if I run this code, you can see it is showing all the details from orders as well as the customers table. So you can see in the orders we have this order ID, customer ID, order date, status, comments, shipping date and shipping ID. It is showing this thing till here, and after that it is merging this customer ID, first name, last name and till points. Okay, so you can see it is also showing customer ID till the points. We don't want that, we only want the order ID, first name, last name and the address. Okay, that's fine. So we will just write over here order underscore ID comma first underscore name comma last underscore name comma and the address of the customer. Okay, and if I run it, you can see now it is showing only the order ID, first name, last name and address of the customer who already purchased something, right? And in case now if you want to know the customer ID as well, let me show you that customer ID and then comma. Okay, now if I try to run this code, it will throw an error. You can see over here that customer ID is ambiguous. That is because in orders table we have this customer ID, similarly in customers table we have this customer ID. So the SQL is now confused, like it will fetch the customer ID from which table, from the customers table or the orders table. So we will just need to write, actually the orders customer ID and the customers customer ID is equal because we put this condition over here. So we can write any one of them, like orders dot customer ID or customers dot customer ID. So let me just write over here orders dot customer ID, and now if I try to run it, it will run properly. Now it is showing the orders ID, customer ID, first name, last name and address. Okay, you can also use alias. Alias is nothing but you just need to put a short form for long sentences. For example, here we are using this orders customers multiple times, right? So we if you wanna don't write this orders customers multiple time, you can just set a prefix. So for example, here orders will be O and customers will be C. Okay, that's fine. Now in replace of orders you can directly write O, and in replace of customers you can write C. Okay, it will not throw an error, it will run perfectly. Actually it is showing an error. That is because we have orders over here. We already tells this SQL that order should be represented as O, so we should not represent order over here, it should be O, right? And now if I try to run it, it will run properly, right? So in this way you can use this inner join or join operator. Okay, so guys, this is the time to do our exercise 3. So you can see in the order items we have this column, this table, and it has order ID, product ID, quantity and unit price. And similarly for product tables we have this product ID, name, quantity in stock and unit price. You have to do merge this product ID, or I can say ordered items table with products table, and you have to show only the columns product ID, then product name, and then quantity and unit price. Okay, that's it. You just need to show 4 columns which has product ID, product name, quantity and unit price. Okay, so this is your exercise. Do it by yourself and then come back to see the actual answer. So I hope you guys did it. So we will do it now in our exercise 3 page. So we will just need to write over here use SQL underscore store, and then we have to first of all need to write, actually it is use, yeah, so fine. And now we have to write over here select star from order items, fine, join products, yeah, on, actually we can also set some alias. For example, for order items we can set OI, and for products we can set P. Okay, that's fine. And on order it has this product ID and it should match with the product ID of products, right? So we will just write oi dot product ID, and that is equals to p dot product ID. Fine. Now if I run it, you can see it is printing all the order ID, product ID till unit price, and then the uh, table of these products, that is product ID, then name, quantity in stock, and unit price. So we will just write over here, we first need to show the product ID, right? So we will just write oi dot product ID, comma, then the name, comma, then quantity, comma, and unit price. Great. Now let's run it. Okay, it is showing an error that unit price is actually, let's check it. Yeah, okay. We have this unit price in order items as well as in the product table. So we will just choose this from order items, okay? Because these are totally different. This is the orders unit and this is the products unit, okay? So these are totally different. We want the orders unit. So we will just write over there oi dot unit price, okay? That's fine. Now let's run it. Yeah, so this is the actual answer, okay? If you get this answer, then you are pass, okay? So guys, in this video we will see how to join tables from different databases. Okay, so we learned that before that we need to use over here, use SQL store. Yeah, that's fine. So before that we already learned that if you wanna know the column name, you can just put the table name, then dot, then the column name, right? Similarly, you can also put the database name, then dot, then the column name, or then the table name. Okay, so database name dot, then the table name. We can do that. So you can, if you go into this SQL inventory and you can see this products table, right? If you run it, so you can clearly see that in SQL inventory we have this product table, and as well as in SQL store we have this products table, right? But both are totally different, right? So we have to just merge these orders. Okay, where is that? The orders item. From order items, product ID should be matched with the SQL inventory products. Okay, so in that case you just need to write select star from, okay, we have to put it semicolon over here, and yeah, from it is actually order item. Yeah, so join, we can just write the alias over here oi for order items, then join the products. But here the products table is not into the SQL store database, it is into the SQL inventory database. So we have to write SQL underscore inventory, uh, then dot, then products, okay? And that can be p, the alias is p. Yeah, on the oi dot product id is equals to p dot product id. Okay, that's fine. Now if I run it, okay, it is showing an error that unknown database SQL inventory. So I guess yeah, we made a mistake over here. It is INVEN then TORY. Okay, now if I run it, you can see all the datas, all the rows from this the merging of order items and product table. So we will just write over here oi dot product id, comma, name, and quantity. Yeah, that's fine, quantity. Fine. Now if I run it, you can see only the product id, name, and quantity. That's fine. Now because we are into this SQL store database, that's why we are writing SQL inventory dot products, because that's totally separate database. But in case if you are using this SQL inventory, so let me just write over it SQL underscore inventory. Yeah, so in that case you don't need to write over here SQL underscore inventory dot products, because products is under SQL inventory, right? but order items are not under SQL inventory, it is under SQL store. So we have to write SQL underscore store over here and then dot. Okay, that's fine. Now if I run it, it will also show the similar thing. It will not create any kind of errors. So this is all about joining across different databases. So guys, we already saw that how to join different tables or how to join different tables from different databases as well. But now we will learn that how to join, like how to do self join. Okay. So if you go into this HR SQL underscore HR database, and there you will find these two tables, employees and offices. So let's run this employees table, and you can clearly see that there is this employee ID, then the first name, last name, job title, salary, and then reports to. Reports to is nothing but it actually indicates the manager of that particular person. For example, this Daisy Nortonen has this report ID 37270. So that means it is the ID of the manager. So you can see this 37270 is the ID of Ivanonda. So yeah, he is the manager of Darcy. Okay, and similarly he don't have any reports to number, right? So that means he doesn't have any kind of managers. So you just need to write the employee name and the manager name with with the employee ID. Okay, so in that case you just need to use this. First of all, we have to use this SQL underscore HR. Use SQL underscore HR, then select start from employees and assume it is the employee tab. So we will just alias it with E and join employees, and suppose this is the manager's employee. Actually these both tables are same, but we are calculating it as a two different table, but it is actually one single table. Okay, so these both are employees table, but we are writing it as employee and one as manager. Okay, join employees as M, and on E dot here we have to write reports to. E dot reports 2 is equals to m dot id, I guess, employee id. Yeah, employee id. Fine. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing me first of all the name of the employee ID, then the details of the employees, and then it is showing me the details of the manager of that particular employee. For example, this Darcy has one manager and he is Yvonando, so it is showing me this one single line. So I'll just want to write e dot employee ID, then comma, then e dot first underscore name, comma, e dot last underscore name, comma, then the name of the manager. So we'll just try to write m dot first underscore name and m dot last underscore name. That's fine. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing me the employees with his manager name, right? So actually you can see the column name, this first name is now repeated, last name is also repeated, so we can obviously set it as e dot first name as employees first name. Actually we should put it within inverted commas. So yeah, fine, great. Now if I run it, you can see the column name is now changed, so you can do it for every columns as well. Yeah, that's it for the self join. So guys, this is the time to our fourth exercise. So you can see the question that queries the name of the clients with address, payment amount, and payment methods from the SQL invoicing database. So you can see this is the SQL invoicing database, and in the table section we have these four tables: clients, invoices, payment methods, and payments. So this is our client tables, this is the payment methods table, and this is the payments table. You can see in clients table we have this client ID with every name. And in payments table we also have this client ID. That means if one client have one kind of invoices, then it will show in this payments table. And in payments table we have this payment method. So you can see 1 and 2, and payment methods mean 1 means credit card, 2 means cash, 3 means PayPal, and 4 means wire transfer. So you actually need to write the name of the clients with address, then payment amount from the payment table. Here you can see payment amount, and the payment methods. The payment methods will be fetched from this payment methods table. So credit card or cash or PayPal, wire transfer, whatever. But let me give you one hint that you can use this join keyword multiple times. Since we are now fetching two different tables, like we are actually using three tables, right? So first of all we will use this clients table, and then we will fetch these two different tables. So in that case we can use join keyword two times. Okay, that's totally fine. You can use join keyword multiple times. Do it by yourself, then come back over here to check the actual answer. I hope you guys solve the question, otherwise you can watch the video. So we first need to write over here select start, because later on we will modify this with name, payment methods, and payment address and all. So select start from clients, right? Clients, join payments. We will make it an alias, like payments should be P and client can be write as C. Yeah, that's fine. On the condition is the client ID should be matched with payments client ID, right? So we will just write over here C dot client ID should be equals to P dot client ID. So let me see the column names again. Yeah, here it is client ID, and here it is also client ID, so that's fine. So yeah, now let's write another conditions or another join keyword, join payment methods. Actually you can't do any kind of spelling mistakes over here, otherwise it will throw an error. So let me make it alias with PM, and conditions will be on actually the payments dot payment method. Okay, so we'll just need to write P dot payment underscore method, and that should be equals to payments method table has this payment method ID. Okay, so PM dot payment method ID. Great. Now let's run it and see. Yeah, it's working fine. Now we have to just write over here. Let me just make it down a bit. Yeah, that's fine. So select the name of the client. So we have to write C dot, I guess, name. Yeah, that's fine. C dot name. Then we have this payment amount. So it is actually over here P dot amount. P dot amount. Then we have this okay, we have to actually add C dot address as well. So whereas C dot address, yeah, that's fine. Let me check it again. C dot address, fine. Now P dot amount and payment methods, right? So P dot PM dot name, PM dot name. Actually if I write name over here, then the column name will be named two times, because here it is the client name and here it is the payment method name, but we will just make it as payment methods. Okay, that's fine. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing the name of the clients, then address, then amount, and then payment methods. It is credit card and cash. Okay, that's fine. So this is the solution of the given queries. Okay, so guys, till now we are using the inner join with explicit format. Okay, so let me tell you why. So the format is select star from, assume we wanna fetch the details of customers who placed a order. So yeah, every order has this customer ID, so we will just write over here orders, and you know, the aliases will be O, and join customers, where the aliases is C. Actually we put it over here. Yeah, that's fine. Now on O dot we have this customer ID, fine. So customer underscore ID, that is equals to c dot, I guess it is also customer ID, fine. So customer underscore ID, and if I run it, you can see it is showing me all the details of the customers who placed the order, right? And you can write it in implicit format as well. So the implicit format is, let me just write over here, this is the implicit format. Yeah, select start from orders as well as from customers. Okay, and now in the place of join keyword, we will use the where keyword, which you already learned how to use that, right? So where orders dot customer underscore ID is equals to customers dot customer underscore ID. Okay, so let me just comment it out. Fine, so let's run it again. Okay, there is one error. Okay, it is not order, it is orders dot customer ID, that's why it is showing that error. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing the similar thing which you already saw when we ran this code, right? So this is the implicit format. You can use this format as well, but it is recommended to use this join statement, because sometimes if you miss this where one, for example, let me just comment it out and run it. You can see in case of 10, now it is showing me a lots of details, right? And that is going to take a lots of pressure on your database. So we will obviously use this join statement instead of where, but you can obviously use this one as well. So guys, till now we'll learn how to use the inner join operator. If you write join, that clearly means it is an inner join operator, right? But if you wanna use the outer join operator, let me show you why we should use this one. So for example, we will just write our previous statement, select star from orders, join customers. Let me set it aliasing C, and over here it is O, and the conditions is on O dot customer. Okay, let it is in capital, so we will just write over here O dot customer underscore ID is equals to C dot customer underscore ID. Fine. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing those customer who already placed a order. But what if you wanna see the names of those customer who didn't place any kind of orders? In that case, we will use this join operator. That is because if I just set it order by, yeah, order by customer, okay, actually C dot customer underscore ID, and let's write over ASC. That means it will be in ascending order. If you don't write it's ASC, that's fine, that will obviously by default takes ascending order, and we only wants to see that C dot customer underscore ID, O underscore customer, okay, sorry, it is customer underscore ID. Fine. Now we also want to know the customer first name, assume. So we will just write over here C dot first underscore name. Great. And now if I run it, you can see it is showing only those customer ID and the name who already placed a order, right? Actually it is the order ID, it should not be customer ID, it should be order ID. So I'll just write over here order underscore ID. Fine. And now if I run it, you can see this customer already placed an order. But now if I want to see the customer who didn't place an order, in that case we will use this outer join. But normally there is two kind of outer join, one is left join and other one is right join. So left space join or right space join. Okay, so the left join means it will fetch all the details of the rows which is left of this join, that is over here it is orders, right? And if you use right join, that means it will fetch all the details, all the rows from the right side of the join, that is customers. Okay, so since we want to know all the customers details, so we will use this right option, right join. Okay, if you write customers over here, then we will use the left join. Okay, so if I run it, you can see now it is showing all the customer details. You can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and all, but it is showing all the customer who didn't place an order also. So you can see for 1 there is no order ID, it is null over here. Similarly for 3 4 it is null over here. So it is showing me all the customers who already placed an order and also who didn't place any kind of orders. Now if you want to use this left join, in that case you just need to write customers over here and the orders will be over here. So now if you write right join, that means it will show all the things which we already seen when we ran inner join. You can see it is showing all the order ID. It is not showing this customer who didn't place any kind of orders. But if you use left join now, that means it will fetch the details from the left side of the join, that is customers, right? So if you run it, you can see it is showing a similar thing. And you can also write left outer join or right outer join. That is the same thing as left join and right join. It will show the similar thing. If I run it, you can see it is showing a similar thing. Obviously this outer is optional. If you want to write it, you can write it, otherwise it is not mandatory. So I'll just remove it and make it shorter, and yeah, that's fine. So guys, we already saw that how to use outer join. So let's go into this shippers table. So we have these shippers IDs, right? And similarly in orders table, we have this shipper ID. That means those orders which are already been shipped to the customer. So we want to fetch the details of all the customer who have placed the orders and also who didn't place the order, as well as if some customers place the order, we also want to see them that the orders is shipped. So we want to see the shipping status also. So you can see we already saw that how to use this left join and right join, and how to fetch all the customers details who already placed an order or who didn't place an order. So in case this customer one didn't place an order, so in the order ID is null. So now we will use another join statement for the shippers table, right? So we will just write over here join shippers, and that short form is S. Okay, that's fine. And then the condition is on O dot shipper ID. Okay, O dot shipper underscore ID, and that is equals to S dot shipper ID, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. So now if I run it, now you can see it is showing only this 5% details. That is not what we wanted, right? We want all the customers details. So it is actually showing those customers who already place an order and the order is placed. So we will just write over here ace dot shipper ID. Yeah, so if I run it now, you can see it is showing me those orders which is already shipped. But we want all the customer details. So in that case we will use this left join because we want to fetch all the customers details. So now if I run it, now you can see this is showing me all the customers details who already placed an order and similarly who didn't place any order. So for example, this second customer placed two orders, 4 and 7. So this 7 order is now shipped, so it is showing this 4 over here, and this 4 order is not shipped, so it is showing null over here. So this is what we wanted, right? So in this way you can use this outer join with multiple tables. So guys, now we will see how to use this self outer join. Self means we will fetch the from table, and the join table will be the same. So we will go into this SQL HR, and yeah, let me just write over here SQL HR, right? So it is SQL HR, and then let's open this employees table, and let me close these tables, and yeah. So this employees table has this employees ID and this reports to, right? Reports to means it reports to the manager, and this Ivananda doesn't have any reports to. That means he is the kind of CEO of that company, so he doesn't have any kind of manager. So if I write inner join over here, so select, assume start from employees, and assume this is E, and join employees. Now it is aim on E dot reports to, I guess. Let me just check it over here. It's reports to, yeah, reports underscore to, that is equals to aim dot employee ID, right? Yeah, employee underscore id. Fine. Now if I run it, you can see that it is showing me all the details. Okay, let me just choose some things. For example, e dot employee id comma e dot first name and comma m dot first name. Great. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing me only those employees who as a manager, because we put these conditions over here. When a report to has a manager id, then it will show the details of that particular employee. Since this even under don't have any manager id, that means he is the ceo of the company, so it is not showing even under over here, because we want all the employees from that company. In that case we will use this outer join, right? So we will just need to write over here left outer join, left outer join. Great. Now if I run it, now you can see it is now showing this even under and who don't have any kind of manager. That's why this section is null, but it should show all the employees, right? So in this way you can use this self outer join. So guys, in this video we will learn about this using keyword. For example, let's go into the SQL store database. So we will just need to write is use SQL underscore store. Great. Now let's open this orders table and the customers table. Great. So if you wanna see all the customer who already placed some orders, in that case we need to write select all from orders, and let's put it an alias o and then o and then join customers, and that is c on c dot customer underscore id is equals to o dot customer id. Great. Now if I run it, you can see it is fetching all the details of the customer who already placed some orders. So we just need to write over here c dot customer underscore id comma o dot status and assume c dot address, right? So okay, it should be comma over here, and that's fine. Now if I run it, yeah, now it is showing the customer id, the order status and the address of the customer. Now you can clearly see over here that we are using the same column name. Like in orders we have this column name customer id, similarly in customers table we have this column name customer id. Since both the column name is same, we don't need to write these two times. Okay, so we can just use using keyword. So instead of this on keyword, we can just directly write using, and then the parenthesis we can write customer underscore id, since this column name is same for both the tables. Now put a semicolon after that, and now if I try to run it, you can see it is showing me the same thing which we already saw when you use the on keyword. So in this way you can use this using keyword when the column names in both the table is same. Okay. So guys, in this video we will learn about this national join. It is not recommended to use it because sometimes it's produce unexpected queries. So for example, we will just write the previous uh, comments. So select star from orders, and that is o. Oops. Yeah. So join customers, and that is c. So for example, let me just write over o dot order id comma c dot first underscore name. Great. So if you want to use this normal join, you have to use the conditions as well. Like if the both the column name is separate, in that case you will use the on attribute, otherwise you will use the using attribute in case if both the column name is same. But this natural join, if you use this natural join, then we don't need to use any kind of conditions. That is because in natural join it will find the same columns. Like if you are using keyword, that means it will fetch the same column details, right? So it will check for the same column name, then compare both the columns, and it will show the result. So let me just run it. You can see it is showing me all the order which is placed. right? So we are not writing any conditions and all. It will just automatically check the conditions. So it is not recommended to use it because sometimes it fetches some random data when there is like more than one column name which is same. Okay, so guys, in this video we will use this cross join. So guys, in case if you want to know that the customer name with every product, so in that case we will use this cross join. Okay, so for example, select star for now, and then from the customers, and that is assume C and great, and now we will just write cross join. Okay, cross join their products. Okay, and assume it is P. Great. Now let me just write over a C dot first underscore name as customer underscore name, and then P dot, I guess it is name, yeah, P dot name, and that is as product underscore name. Great. Now if I run it, you can see now all the customers name is on every product name. For example, this first product name is form dinner plate, and all the customer name is added with form dinner plate. Then the second, all the customer details is added with this pork bacon whatever name is that. So yeah, in this way you can use this cross join. It is, by the way, a explicit method. You can also use the implicit method. In that case you don't need to write this cross join over here. You just need to write, let me just comment it out, and you just need to write orders. Okay, so then it will show the similar thing, but this is the implicit method. But while using cross join, it is better to use the explicit method because it is not clear. If you are using cross join, I'll suggest you to use this implicit method because it is more clear to be understand, right? So guys, in this video we will learn about these unions. So union is used to merge two different tables, or you can say two different results. Okay, so for example, let me just write use SQL underscore store, and if I just write select a star from orders. Great. Now if I run it, okay, actually it is showing an error. Yeah, that's fine. So now if I run it, it will fetch all the details of the orders, right? So you can clearly see that in orders table we have this order date, and on the only the first one is from 2019 and the rest of the all is 2018 or 2017. So in case like if you wanna see the status of the orders, like if the order date is order year is 2019, then it will show active, otherwise it will show archive. Okay, so in that case we just need to write over here select, we'll just write order underscore id, then you can say customer id and a status, right? So we can just write active as status. Okay, so this is a predefined string which will be same for every rows, right? And we should put a conditions over here, so where the order underscore date is greater than or equals to 20191. Okay, it is 0101, right? Great. Now if I run it, great, it is showing an error because we put a point over here. It should be comma, and here it should be comma, then it's fine. Now if I run it, you can see it is showing only first order which has a customer id 6 and the status is active, right? So yeah, it is working fine. Now in case if the order is before 2019, then it should print archive. So in that case we'll just copy this one and paste it again, and now we will just write over here archive. Great, and it should be less than 2019, right? And we will just select this portion of this code and run it. You can see now it is showing this 2 to 10, that means total 9 rows, and which are archived now, but it is not showing this first row. If I just remove this one, you can see it is showing an error because we should put semicolon over here, and if you select this portion only, it will not run. So to show both the things, to show the result of the first conditions, first statements, and as well as the result of the second statements, we will use this union operator. Union it will actually merge both the results. Okay, so yeah, if I run it now, you can see only the first one is active and the rest of the archive, and both the results is now merged. So in this way you can use this union operator. So guys, this is the time to do our exercise 5. So you can see the question over here. Query the name of the customer along with the address and point and level types. Okay, level type is not in the customers table. You can see over here. You have to add this column, and level type can be like bronze, silver and gold. If the customer's point, okay, where is that? Yeah, if the customer point is less than 1500, then it is bronze, and if it is less than 3000, then it is silver, and otherwise it is gold. Okay, so we have to set this one using this union attribute. Okay, so pause this video and do it by yourself, then come back over here to see the answer. So I hope you did your answer. So now let's do it over here. So this is the solution of this. So we will just first of all need to select the name of the customer. Actually this is, there is no name column, I guess. Yeah, it is first name. So we will just write over here first underscore name as name. Okay, fine. Now we have to get the address and points. So the address column name is address and points is points. Okay, great. So we will just write over address comma points, and we have one more, that is label type, right? So we will separate both the things. We will separate bronze, silver and gold, then we will use union to merge them all, right? So we will just need to write bronze as this is actually level type, right? Level type. Great. Now we have to write from customers table and where the points is less than 1500. Great. Now if I run it, just select this thing and run it. Okay, now we are getting all the bronze. Now we will just copy this one two more time. Great. Now we have to write it silver over here, silver, and it is gold, and this limit is actually okay, this limit is actually 3000, and it is actually greater than 3000, greater than 3000. Fine, so let's run it and see. Yeah, now it is showing all the silvers, and now let's learn this one, and it should showing, yeah, it is showing all the golds. Fine, now we need to write union over here, union, and over here as well union, and let's end it with semicolon, and now select all of this code and run it. Now you can see all the code is now separated with bronze, silver and gold, but actually we have to this is not looking good. Like all the bronze is now in the top, now silver is in the middle and gold is in the end. We actually need to arrange this with alphabetical order of the name of the customer, right? So yeah, in that case we need to write order by, right? So at the end of this thing we will need to write order by, then we have to write first name, right? And that's fine. Now if I run it, okay, first of all I need to select it and then run it. Okay, it is showing an error, and the error actually states that there is no argument called first name. So actually because we changed the first name as name, so we have to write over here only name, not first name. So we are gonna, yeah, that's fine. Now let's run it. Yeah, you can see now all the things is now okay. Let me just increase the size. Now you can see the total table is now arranged with the alphabetical order. You can see these names are now repeating, right? That is because we set the conditions which is not actually true, because if the point is less than 1500, that is also less than 3000, right? So we actually need to write like this, between. Okay, so we should use this between operator, between 1500 and 3000. Great. Now if I run it, you can see now it looks perfect, and now all the columns are repeating one time, and Amber is now bronze level, Barbara is in silver, Clemmy in gold, and so on, right? So this is the actual answer. Okay. So guys, in this video we will see how to copy one table to another table. You don't need to write the insert method again and again to insert data into a new table. You can directly copy one table if you need them, right? For example, you have this customers table, right? So this is the customers table, and assume you wanna need to send this table to someone else, and you obviously need to create a new table to send the details to them, but you don't want to insert every data separately to that table, right? You just want to copy this table. So in that case, this copying table method will use. So first of all, we have to use the database. So it is use SQL underscore store. Great. Now we have to create a table. So create table, right? And then write assume customers underscore archived. Great. And now normally we put semicolon and press enter, right? It will create the table, then we have to insert the data separately. But now we will instead of writing semicolon, we will write as. Okay, now we will use this select method. Okay, select star from customers. Okay, it will fetch all the data from customer and store into this customer archived table. Okay, now put semicolon and run. Yeah, you can see over here 10 rows now affected and 10 duplicates. Okay, now you can clearly see here 10 duplicates, but there is no customer archive table, right? So you have to refresh this thing. After refreshing, now you can see there is customer archived, and if you see this table, you can see it is totally same. Let me just close these two, orders and products one. Now you can see this is the customers table which we already have, and this is this customer archive table. Okay, both are looking same, but there is one more problem. In the customers table, let's go over here and click on this setting option, this setting icon over here, and yeah, so you can see that in customers table we have this customer ID as a primary key and as a AI. So what is basically PK and AI? So if you hover over that, PK means primary key, okay, NN means not null, AI means auto incremental. That means if you don't write customer ID again and again, it will just auto increment the value. That means 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and so on, right? It will not like if you don't put the values of customer ID, it will not throw an error, it will auto increment its value. And similarly, NN means these values should be not null. That means customer ID, first name, last name, address, city, these are required thing, right? You can't put them null, but the first birth date and phone number can be null. If you don't put your birth date and null, that's totally fine. But if you go into the setting of the customer archived, then you can see this customer ID is no longer a primary key, as well as this is not a AI. That means this is not a auto incremental attribute, right? That is because when you copy this customers table or any kind of table, it will totally remove the primary keys and AI. That means if you now try to insert data without writing the customer ID, it will throw an error because it will not get auto increment. And as well as the customer ID is not no longer a primary key. That means it cannot be a unique. Like if you put one, you can obviously put one again, but before that, in customers table, in original customers table, if you put one in one ID, you can't put one again. That is because it is a unique for everyone, right? So yeah, that is the drawback of copying table. But yeah, in this way you can copy the table, one table to another table. Okay, so guys, we saw that how to copy one table to another, but you can see over here these are the data. This is fetching all the table details from the customers table over here, right? But what if you wanna set some conditions, right? Like if the customer's point is less than 2000, then only you should fetch the details of that particular customer, otherwise you don't need to fetch that details. So this is an example. So let's do that with insert keyword using the select keyword. Okay, before that we have to remove all the details from this table, right, in the customer archive table. So for that you just need to right click over here and click on this truncate table. Okay, then confirm that you want to delete all the rows from the customer archive table. Yeah, truncate. Great. Now if you click on this refresh option, now you can see there is no data in this table, right? So now let's write one thing, select. Okay, first of all we need to use that database, so it is SQL underscore store and then select star from customers where the points is less than 2000, right? And now put semicolon and run it. Now you can see it is fetching all the customers detail whose points is less than 2000. Now we want to enter these customers inside this customer archived option, right? So for that you just need to write insert into customer underscore archived. Yeah, great. And that's it. Now if I run it, okay, now you can see 6 row affected and 6 duplicates. And if I go into the customer archived and reload this one, this option, and you can see now only those customers details is now fetched who has this point less than 2000. Okay, so in this way you can use this select keyword with the insert keyword. Okay. So guys, like any other language, we can also use functions in SQL. There are some predefined functions. We will see that in later on, but for now let's see how to create a function. Okay, so for example, to create a function you just need to write create, then function. Okay, then the function name. For example, we have this employees table, right? So let me just okay, let it be run. Yeah, so you can see in the employees table we have this first name and last name. So suppose if you wanna know the name of the employee, you need first name as well as the last name, but both are in one table. So in that case, full name will be first name space and then the last name, right? So we will create a function for full name. So it will be full underscore name. Now we have to pass the arguments. So the arguments will be the first sorry, it's first underscore name. Like when we create a new table, we have to pass the column name as well as the size of the column, the data type of the column, right? So this will be varchar 50, great. And then we have to pass the second argument, that is last underscore name, and that will be also varchar of 50 size, great. Now close this parenthesis and now we will write returns. Okay, remember this word, it is returns, not return. Okay, returns, then the total size of the data type. Okay, so we will just pass var char of around 100, great. And now we have to write deterministic. Okay, that is because in case if you wanna know that you will be return the same value as the argument, in this case it is same because we are passing first name and last name, it is also returning the first name and last name combined, right? So that's why we will write deterministic. And now we will write return concat, then yeah, this is also a predefined function. You can see it put parentheses over here, so it is a predefined function. And we have to pass over here first underscore name, then comma, then a space, then again comma, and then last name. Okay, so last underscore name, great. Now if I run it, you can see this code is successfully run. And if you go over the SQL HR database, you can see now this section is now created, which is named as functions, right? So in this functions option, this function is now stored. So now we will just remove this one, or I'll just make a new query tab, and here I'll just write use SQL underscore HR, and then we will write select star from employees, right? Now if I run it, you can see it is showing all the details, right? That's fine. So now if I just write employee ID comma, now we, instead of writing the first name and last name separately, we will combine them. Okay, so we will just use this function. So this is actually the name is full name, so we will just write over here full underscore name. Now we have to pass the arguments, that is the first name and last name. So we will just write first underscore name comma last underscore name, great. And the whole column name will be full name. Okay, or I can say only name, right? So now if I run it, okay, it is showing an error. Okay, the error is actually that it is setting that unknown column fir sst underscore name. So we didn't put fir sst over here, and let's see the function. Oh yeah, here I put fir double st, so it should be fir st, and now let me just run it. Okay, so this changes is now saved, and let's go into our this query, and yeah, it looks fine. Now if I try to run it, you can see now it is combining this first name and last name, and the whole column name is now named, right? So in this way you can use functions to like, so that you can do a certain thing multiple times without writing this code repeatedly, right? You can just call that function, it will do for you. So guys, we already saw how to join multiple tables, right? And how to use self inner join, self outer join. So for example, assume if you are doing a lots of inner joins, outer joins and all, you don't know how the actual result will looks like, right? Until you run that code again and again. So in that case, you can store that particular section of joining or code into your database, and for that we will just use create view. So we already saw how to create new table, how to create new functions. Now it's time to create a new view. Okay, so to create a new view, before that I'll just write over here, for example, this is our employee table, right? So we will do the self join, which we already did, right? So we'll write that code again, select for example star now from employees, assume it is E, and then okay, sorry, it is E. Yeah, great. Now inner join, or you can write normal join, both are same. So inner join and join is totally same. So I'll just write employees aim on, then the condition is E dot reports to is equals to m dot employee id, right? E dot reports underscore to is equals to m dot what is that, employee id, right? Employee id, yeah. So and we will just choose this E dot employee id comma E dot first underscore name comma m dot first underscore name, right? And now if I run it, you can see it is showing me only those persons who has a manager, and in this case these are all the employee who is under even under, right? Great. Now if you want to store this thing in a view, so we'll just write over here create view. Okay, then you have to write the name of that view. For example, when you create a table, you write create table, then the table name. Similarly, when you create a function, you write create function, then the function name. So now we will write create view and the view name. Okay, so we will just write employee employees underscore under manager. Okay, and we will write as. So this employees under manager is actually this whole select thing, whole table, right? So now if I run it, okay, it is showing an error. Okay, yeah, it is showing this error because duplicate column name as first name. So E dot first name should be the first name of manager, and it should be as manager, right? So great. Now if I run it, you can see this create view method is now successfully run, and if you refresh these schemas, you can see now we have this views option, right? In the views option, if I go, and you can see now here it is employees under manager option, and if you run it, you can see it is showing the same thing. So you can see it is running select star from SQL HR dot employees under manager. So it is the same thing which we saw in this result. So now we don't need to run it again and again to see the result. We can just see from here. And if you want to edit directly from here, you just need to click on the setting option. Otherwise you can obviously write a SQL code for that. So let me just comment it out. And so to edit that thing, you just need to write update. Okay, update view, that means update the view name, view table name. So it is employees. Okay, it is so long actually, employees under manager. Okay, set, assume now we want to set this sire's employee id as 35,000 instead of this one 37851. Okay, so we will just write set employee underscore id, that is equals to 35000, where the employee name is Sire, right? So we'll just write first underscore name is equals to SAYER, I guess. It is SAYER, yeah, fine. So now if I run and put semicolon after it, now if I try to run it, okay, it is showing an error. Okay, it isn't showing that you are using the safe mode, so we have to use the unsafe mode to update this table, right? So for that you just need to click on this edit option, then this preferences, and after that go down a bit and click on this SQL editor, and then go down a bit and then uncheck this save update. Okay, then click OK. Great. Now if I run it, okay, it is actually telling me that you should reconnect, so I'll just exit this one and again open this MySQL workbench. Great, now I need to put my password. Great, now if I run it, now you can see one row affected, one change and one warning. Great. Now if I go into this employees under manager and try to run it, now you can see this Sire has this now employee ID 35,000, right? So in this way you can use this view attribute and you can create a new view, then update it like this way. Okay. So guys, in this video we will learn how to use case operator. Okay, so in other programming languages like C++, Java, whatever, you use the if-else statement, right? So if the condition is true, then you perform a certain task. Similarly in SQL you will use the case operator. Okay, so for example, let me just fetch the orders table from orders. Great. Now if I run it, you can see this is the orders table, right? So we have this status column over here. It is 1 and 2. Okay, so what if I wanna write, like, if the order status is 1, that means it should be shipped, or if the order status is 2, that means it is delivered. Okay, so in that case we will use the case operator. Okay, so first of all let me just fetch a certain amount of columns, for example order underscore id, then order underscore date, and now we will use this case operator. Okay, so case operator syntax is case, then you perform a certain task, and then there is end. Okay, and if I wanna set this column name as order underscore status, so the column name will be the order underscore status, and we wanna fetch the status column, so we will just write over here status. So the format is case, then the column name, then you perform certain operation of certain if else statement, then you will write end. That's it. Okay, in case if you want to change the column name, then you write obviously as, then the column name, right? So yeah, case status, and now we will go inside this case and write conditions. So if the status is 1, then it will show the order status is shipped, right? So we will write when 1, okay, then it should show shipped, right? And we want one more condition, like when it is 2, then it should show it is delivered, right? Now let's run it. Yeah, now you can see it is showing the order id, order date, and order status, and it is actually shipped and delivered, and like something like that, right? You can also use else statement. So when order status is 1, then it shows shipped. Else, now let's assume we will use the concat. For example, if the order is not shipped, then we will write concat, then the parentheses we will write order underscore id, then comma, and then it will be shipped soon. Okay, great. Now let's close it, and now if I run it, you can see it is showing those if the order status is 1, then it is showing shipped, and if the order status is not 1, then it is showing that the order id will be shipped soon. So I should remove this it from here. Yeah, now if I run it, Yeah, now you can see it is shipped, and 2 will be shipped soon, then 5 will be shipped soon, 7 will be shipped soon, and so on, right? Yeah, in this way you can use this case operator. Okay, so guys, now we will see how to use the if and null if operator. Okay, so using if operator in SQL is kind of like using ternary operator in any languages. Like let me show you a demo. For example, this is our orders table, right? So if, or let's go into the customers table. Yeah, so this is the first name and last name. So if the first name contains a in the word, then it will return the name. Okay, otherwise it will return null. Okay, so let me just write like this: select customer id, I guess. Yeah, customer underscore id, then the state, and now we will write the if statement. Okay, if operator. Before that we have to write from customers table, right? Customers table. So now if I write if, and then open parenthesis and closing parenthesis, and now if I want to change the column name, we will obviously do that. So as assume name. Okay, so as name, the column name will be name, and now in the if operator we have to pass 3 arguments. Okay, so the first argument will be the condition, and if the condition is true, then it will run the second argument, and if the condition is false or not true, then it will run the third argument, like a ternary operator. Okay, so we will just write over here first name, first underscore name, like, then the ampersand a ampersand. Okay, so if the first name consists a in the word, then it will return true, right? So if it is true, then it will perform the second argument. So there is a second argument and there is a third argument, you can see over here. So now we will write the second argument. So the second argument will be assume. Okay, let me close this one. Yeah, so we have to pass the second argument, then the third argument. If it is true, like if the name contains a, then it should return first name, right? And else, if the condition is false, then it should return null. Okay, so now if I run only this portion, let me just select it. Okay, it is showing an error over here. That is because we have to put comma over here. Yeah, now that's fine. So now if I select it and run, now you can see it is showing the customer id, then state, and then name. If the name consists a, then it is returning the name, otherwise it is returning null. Okay, so you can obviously customize it, like if the name consists a, then you can just write over here it is a vowel or something like that, vowel. Okay, so now if I run it, you can see now it is showing. Okay, actually we have to select this one and run it. Yeah, now you can see if the name consists a, then it is showing vowel, and otherwise it is showing null, right? So in this way you can use this if operator. So now we will use this null if operator, right? So for null if operator, let me just make another condition. So select, now assume we are using this orders table. So here there is a order status, that is 1 and 2. So actually let me just write over here this thing, select order id and order date. I'll just copy this one from there and paste it, and similarly I'll just copy this from over here and paste it as well. So yeah, so now we will use this null if. Okay, so basically this takes 2 arguments. So you can see in the if operator it takes 3 arguments, right? But null if actually takes 2 arguments. So we'll just write over here. Yeah, great. So both of the arguments are actually expressions. If the first expressions and second expression is equal, then it will return null. Otherwise, it will return the first expression. Okay. So for example, here the status is 1 or 2, right? So if the status is equals to 2, assume it is 2, when the status is 2, it will return null, otherwise it will return the status. Okay, and let me just write over there as order underscore status. Okay, so now if I just select this portion and run it, you can see it is returning on like it is returning the status if the status is not null, and if it is 2, then it is returning null. Well, let me show you the conditions here. You can see if the order status is 2, it is returning null. So in this way you can use if and null if operator. Okay, So guys, in this video we will learn about triggers, right? So if you ever use JavaScript and this kind of language, then you know already about triggers, because when you do a certain types of actions, then the next action is called triggers, right? For example, if you wanna open a pop-up in a website, when the mouse hover over that particular section, that is called triggers. Like when the mouse will hover that section, this pop-up will open up, so that's called triggers, right? So we will use this trigger. For example, we have this customers table, right? So for example, when a user inserts some data in this customers table, we want that every name should be in uppercase. Okay, if the user write in smaller case or lower case, or the first one is capitalized and then the rest of the letters are in lowercase, the user can input in any format, but we will capitalize it later, right? So for that we will use this trigger. Similarly, if you want to update or a table, then also we can use this trigger. There are so many uses of triggers, so let's create a one, then we will know more about it. Okay, so to create a trigger, you just need to write create trigger, then the trigger name. For example, this is for inserting a name, right? Now we have to write like why this trigger is now created. So for example, before insert on customers. Okay, so whenever some row is inserting on customers table, or you can say when this insert keyword is used with customer table, then this trigger will launch. Okay, and now let's set a condition for let's make it capitalized. For each row, you can see already that we are getting these suggestions as well. For each, you can see we are getting these suggestions. So anyways, yeah, for each row we want that set new dot. New is a keyword. Okay, new is a keyword, so new dot the assume this first name, right? So the column name is first underscore name. Okay, that should be in uppercase, so we want upper. So upper, then parenthesis, then we have to write new dot first, oops, it's dot over here, and then first underscore name, and close this parenthesis. Great. Now yeah, now let's run this trigger. Great. Now let's open a new query tab, and here I'll just use the SQL underscore store, and we will try to insert some data, right? Insert some data into this customers table. So insert into this customers table. So for time being, we will not insert every particular column. We will just choose someone, like customer ID will be obviously increment to 11, and then first name, and assume only last name. Okay, we will just input first name and last name. So first underscore name comma last underscore name. Great. Now we will put the values will be assume Albert Robert. Okay, now close this one. Okay, we have to put comma over here because the first one is the first name and the second one is the last name, and we have to make it inside the inverted commas because these are strings. Yeah, great. Now if I run it, okay, it is showing an error that address doesn't have a default value, so we have to put the address as well. So we'll just write over the address and assume this is something XYZ. Yeah, now let's try to run it. Again, it is showing that the city doesn't have a default value. So let's go into the setting and let's see who doesn't have the null value. Okay, the address, city, states, and point, we have to insert them as well. So we will just write over here comma city comma what is that one? It is state and then points. Okay, great. So it is states and points. Great. So we have to put a second integer. Sorry, it is, I guess, where character type. Okay, so we will just write over here the city is ny. Okay, and now we have to put the state, and that is assume fa, and the points should be comma 3 point, okay, 312. Okay, that's fine. So now let's run it. Okay, unknown column states in field list, so it is actually state, not states. and let's run it again. Yeah, now you can see one row is now affected, and let's see our table, right? So if I run it, you can see this data is now inserted, but you can see this Albert is not what we wrote, right? Because we wrote A in capital and the rest of the letters are in lowercase, but you can see over here their Albert is in totally uppercase. That is because we make this trigger, like when someone try to insert something on customers, only the first name, only the new first name, new is the keyword, new dot first name, only the new first name will be in uppercase, right? Similarly, we can also use the update trigger as well. So for example, let's create another one, create trigger, and this is for update name, assume. So before update on customers, for each row set new dot first underscore name, and that should be totally opposite of the previous one, so we can make it lower, and then new dot first underscore name, and yeah, that's fine. So now if I try to run it, obviously it will throw an error because the first trigger is already exist, right? So if the trigger is already exist, then you can't make a trigger with the same name, because this int name trigger is already exist. In that case, we can use this one word, drop trigger if exist. Okay, I guess there's a spelling mistake. Yeah, we have to remove this h from here. Great. Now drop trigger if exist, then the trigger name, so that is inf underscore name, because this trigger is already exists, right? So now put a semicolon, and now let's run it. Now you can see that all the triggers is now created, because you can see in the first line drop trigger, this trigger int name is now deleted, and then it's created that trigger again, and then it created the update trigger again, right? So now let's go into the query section and let's make it a comment. Okay, now let's write the update customers, set, then we will set only the first name, first underscore name, that is assume now Alex. So see, we are putting A in capital and LEX in lowercase, right? And we will set where the condition is where the customer ID is 11, right? So okay, where is that? Yeah, where customer underscore ID is equals to 11. Great. Now let's run it. It's run perfectly. Now let's see the tables, see the rows of this customer table, and now you can see all the letters in Alex is now in lowercase. That is because we created this update trigger, which will do like whenever there is new first name in update, then it will make that in lower format. Okay, so that's why it's that's why, where is that? That's why this Alex is now in lowercase. Okay, so in this way you can use this trigger method. Okay.